So I talk about pre-order incentives or bonuses, however you want to call it, and if they really are starting to get a bit too much of a problem, and by problem I mean the stuff that they're offering. The recent release of Metro Last Light, the only way you could get the Ranger mode was by pre-ordering it. You can buy it now as DLC for £4. I'm not sure how much it is in America. But the problem with that is that Ranger mode it was in the original Metro and it was described as the definitive way to play Metro. It took away the hood, it took away most of the health packs, you were a lot more vulnerable to death, you didn't have any bullets really. And the enemies did a lot more damage. The game was just hard. It was basically a really hard difficulty setting. And a lot of people said that that was the definitive way to play Metro. So obviously when they take it out of Metro Last Light, you know, a few people question it, and they should question it, because it's not like it's just a skin or anything like that. It's a game mode. It's quite a large part of the game. It's a full mode that completely changes the experience. To me, that shouldn't be DLC or pre-order bonuses. It should be in the game like it was with the original. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole Last Light thing with the Deep Silver and its transition with THQ and the retail agreement and whatnot. What I am going to go about is do we as consumers, as video game fans, as customers to these retailers, do we think that pre-order bonuses are actually fair? I mean, there's a lot of different retailers offering just 101 different incentives for each game. Gears of War Judgment, there was like skin packs just all over. There was like Amazon Play, Shop 2, Game. I think Game offered a Hammerburst code. I might be wrong. I know if some of them offered an actual gun to use in multiplayer. To me, that's a definitive thing of why this is wrong. You shouldn't be offering things that can be used in multiplayer that have an impact on the actual gameplay. Cosmetically, no problem at all. Gun skins, no problem at all. Carrot skins, that's fine. But offering access to a weapon that no one else can really access, that seems really unfair to me. And it's a problem that's continuing, and it's run through with more and more releases. I mean, I'm looking at the Grid 2 webpage right now, and if you pre-order from Game, you get the limited edition, which basically now means pre-order edition. Don't know why limited edition. It's now sort of been bastardized into this sort of new meaning of, yeah, this is a pre-order edition. But Grid 2, pre-order from Game, you get 2 new tracks, which that's fair enough. I'm not entirely... It still bothers us that they take the actual content from the game and strip it and attach it to a retailer and say, yeah, just say it's DLC, because it's clearly not. It's supposed to be in the game. But they also offer 2 exclusive race cars. Now, I'm guessing these race cars can be used on multiplayer, and I'm guessing they're not going to be shit, considering it's a pre-order bonus. So my problem would be, you're giving advantage to someone just because they chose to order it from this retailer and not that retailer. It's just really annoying. It's like there's 2 sides to this argument, obviously. People are like, oh, well, it's customer loyalty. It's a good business decision. Sure, yeah, it is. It's a good business decision to offer stuff that other retailers can't. But at the same time, the game companies and the publishers, maybe not the developers, but the publishers, they're aware of what they're doing. They're aware that they're getting advantages just based on who's buying from where. And it's not going to end in anything good. It's just going to end up with games, releasing, and there's like just a bunch of people that have a massive advantage over certain people, and obviously the people that are at disadvantage aren't going to enjoy the game very much. And it just boggles the mind why they continue to do this. I'm all for having like exclusive skin packs and whatnot. It still does bother us that you're taking away content and unlocks in the game, but skin packs, it's alright, because they're not something that you need. It's not something that impacts the gameplay. It's purely cosmetic. But taking away actual content from a game to attach it to a pre-order bonus incentive, whatever you want to call it, and saying, yeah, you get this if you pre-order, it's just wrong. You shouldn't be taking away content from a game that's already in there. It's already on the disc. I know you get a code. It's like, yeah, tap this out, redeem it. There you go. It's downloading. But half the files are minuscule, so they're obviously on the disc. It's like the Capcom thing all over again. where I think it was Marvel vs. Capcom 3, when that came out, you know, everyone was really excited, they were buzzing. And then they released the first character pack, which I think was Jill Valentine and what's his name? It was another character, and everyone was like, "Oh well, you know, we'll buy it because you know it's Marvel vs. Capcom. I want to try new people out." And then it turned out the files were on the disc, and not many people are happy, which is fair enough because they did the exact same thing. Resident Evil 5, the multiplayer, the versus mode. They wanted you to pay extra for that, and guess what? It was on the disc. So people got really vocal about it, like seriously vocal. There was posts across 100 forums. There was journalists, sites posting articles on the topic, but no one's really covered pre-order incentives in much detail, which kind of confuses us because it's exactly the same. They're still taking content away from you, and they're still saying, yeah, you have to pre-order from here to get this content. Sure, it's not saying you have to buy it at a later date like Capcom have been doing, but at the same time, if you look at Last Light, they've said it's exclusive to a pre-order, but it's obviously not. They've released it as DLC as well, so it's just weird. It kind of confuses us to why they would say exclusive pre-order bonus when it's clearly not exclusive. I mean, if you look on the Steam page now, it's like I think it's $3.99 or $4.99 from Ranger mode. So it just strikes as odd that this is the new business practice that a lot of publishers and retailers are going for, and it also confuses as to why they would do this, because I want to know how it's figured out. How does a publisher say you get this slice of DLC and they give it to the game, you get this slice of DLC and they give it to shop to? How is it all figured out? And where's the line going to stop? I mean, is it just going to end up where we're like buying a core game and pretty much all the rest of the content is filled around DLC and pre-order incentives? I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And it's a problem. The same thing happens with collector's editions, to be fair. I'm quite a big fan of collector's editions, but majority of the ones that I buy don't actually feature in-game content. I prefer stuff that's more tangible. Which is why, I mean, I honestly think Blizzard do it the best way. That's why I got these behind us, not just showing them off. I mean, if we look on the back, this is the Heart of the Stone Collector's Edition. It was only came out like 2 months ago. Now, if you look on the back, here we got all this cool stuff. Now, Blizzard always do a good job. You've got your PC at your game, obviously. You've got your behind-the-scenes stuff. You got soundtrack, a little art book. Well, I see it a little. It's quite big. You got your discs, obviously, a mouse mat, and then this is your in-game content. Now, this is. I don't mind this. This is purely cosmetic. It's more the ability for the person that buys this, so example me, to show off that, yeah, I'm a big fan of StarCraft games. And Blizzard always do a good job at doing stuff like this because they tie it with other games. So you get your little portraits for Battle.net. I'm not sure you can see them. You get an in-game pet for World of Warcraft, and you get some cosmetic stuff for your Diablo 3 character. Nothing there that will give you an advantage over anyone else. Now, the same can't be said for a lot of the collector's editions these days. Call of Duty offered you experience boosts, which always seemed weird to me because obviously you unlock new guns through experience. So if one guy's just running around with like 50% experience boosts compared to everyone else that's just on the flat line, they're obviously going to get well more guns, which are better, and well more ability to customise the classes and just dominate multiplayer. That's an unfair advantage. That's another thing that's a problem. As you can see, Blizzard, cosmetic, no advantage, doesn't impact the gameplay. Call of Duty Hardened Edition, whatever it's called, impacts the gameplay. And the whole problem with this, it seems to be on the console side more than the PC side. And it's worrying because it also makes you wonder where the line will be drawn then. I'm interested to see how pre-order incentives are tied in the next generation. I can only see pre-order incentives and bonuses and in-game content through collector's editions becoming more and more of a popular thing for publishers and retailers to do. And unfortunately, I think the bonuses are probably going to get a bit more aggressive and definitely impact your experience, both single player and multiplayer. Because you got to remember, single player guys, you know, they're sitting there saying, "Oh well, you know, multiplayer stuff that doesn't affect me. I don't play multiplayer," but they're taking stuff out of single player games as well. Last Light being an example. So yeah, that was just a quick video on pro incentives, why I'm kind of worried how it's all going. I'd be interested to know how other people view them, because there doesn't seem to be a huge backlash against this compared to the whole Capcom practices of a couple of months back, maybe a year or so back. So yeah, be very interested to see what other people think. In a nutshell, not a big fan of pre-order bonuses. As long as they're cosmetic, fine, but most of them now tend to be actually impacting the gameplay. So yeah, that's pretty much it.